I'm El Witchy.
I'm the Empress.
And I'm Kim. Welcome to The Witch, the Bitch, and the Sage. No experts, just three vastly different women with vastly different experiences, giving diverse perspectives on life and spirituality. Today on this episode, we're going to be talking about our spiritual practices, kind of a day in the life, so to speak. We're going to be talking about what we do daily, what we'd like to explore, and how those are working for us. So we're going to start it off with you, Empress.
All right. First off, how you girls doing this morning?
It's early.
Good. I know. That's why I'm asking. So, my daily practices, the one daily constant is meditation. And my tea. So meditation is important for me because I need to keep myself centered at all times. That's how I emotionally regulate, is meditation. Whether it be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I try to get a minimum of 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening before I lay down to go to bed. Depending on how my day is going, I might have to sneak in 5 or 10 minute little sessions to help bring myself back to center. But meditation for me is very cathartic. Sometimes I cry. Sometimes I end up laughing at the end. It's all a connection to my higher self. As well as I've run into some ancestors as well during my meditation. But I feel like answers come more clearly to you when you take the time to quiet and declutter your thoughts, your brain. So that's my main practice. And the tea drinking is how I heal myself daily against the antigens and the floating around in this world. But also, water is power. So I talk to my tea, my affirmations. I say it into my cup every morning. And that also helps start my day with conviction and a purpose. So that's my daily practice. Just a little snippet. I have some other stuff that I do, but it's not consistent. It's on an as-needed basis.
Yeah, me too. Do you meditate in a formal setting, or do you do it informally, or how do you do that?
So my scheduled ones are more formal, depending upon the weather. I normally like to do it outside, grounded, or even if I'm not barefoot, I do prefer to be facing the sun. If the weather does not permit, I have an altar inside my closet.
I love it.
Yeah, so you know how the Christians, they have the prayer closets. So I have an actual altar in my closet where I keep all my clothes. And yes, I burn incense in there too, candles and everything. But yeah, I have a little place where I sit and I have my offerings and my altar. So that's where I meditate for my formal settings. Informal, when they're impromptu and I just need it to emotionally regulate or decompress, I could be sitting waiting for my car to get service, and I am sitting there with my eyes closed in the middle of everybody, and I'm meditating, which actually I found to be very empowering, to know that I have the power to transport myself somewhere else with everything else that's going around me. So that really helps a lot. I know I've said meditation a lot, but it is my lifeline to staying present in the 3D world without crashing out.
Yeah, I like that. And meditation can mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people. So thanks for sharing what you do on a daily basis.
Thank you.
Elle?
You had a question, Elle?
Yes. You say that you organize your thoughts. Can you dive into a little bit of what works for you? What does that look like for you?
So, how can I say this? I don't think, me, myself in this world, I don't think I'm the one that's actually organizing my thoughts. I think my higher self is doing it for me, because the purpose I won't say the purpose of meditation. The purpose of my meditation is to cancel out all thought. I'm only focusing on my body, my breathing, any tingling sensations. I'm only focusing on how I feel on the inside and what I can feel, as far as on the outside. I'm not focusing on, I'm not trying to organize, okay, I got this big project due, or when I get home I gotta wash the dishes, wash the clothes. It's only what is going on internally, my breathing, how my eyes feel, how the air feels coming up my nose, if I hear birds, like those things. And when you clear your head out like that, I feel like answers to questions that you've had, whether it be 3D world or 5D world, it downloads to you. You don't have to think about it, because in my mind, well, not in my mind, but in my opinion, we already know everything we need to know. We just don't realize that we know it because we're too bogged down with all the chaos and distractions in the 3D world. And I would like to add, for people who find it difficult to meditate, because I did have a problem with it at first, but my spiritual advisor was very heavy on it. I started off with a candle, meditating with my eyes open. So it gave me something to focus on, and not help my thoughts wander with my eyes being closed and having full, autonomy of whatever I want to think about. But if I stayed focused on the candle, watching the flame flicker and how it moved and changed colors, just focusing on that helped me really hone my meditation skills.
Good point.
So, little cheat code if you're having a problem meditating.
Not me.
And what about you, Elle?
Okay, so my daily practice is going to be a little extensive because obviously I'm a witch. Let me get my notes. So my daily practice is a little bit of spirituality, but a whole lot of mundane, everyday witchcraft. The first thing I do, as most people know, I have 4 dogs. 4 dogs that need to empty bladders. So every morning, first thing, I have to be out in nature. It's part of probably why my journey ended up the way that it is. So when I first walk out, I have a big pine tree who is the protector of my property, of my land. And so I always greet Lilith. She has a name. She is referred to as an individual in this house. So I always greet her and say thank you and just top of the morning. I then end up in my backyard in front of my woods. People who follow me on TikTok, I've talked about my woods randomly. They're very important to me. But one of the things that I do is while I'm standing in front of it, okay. Witches have a lot of titles. A lot of people who are getting into spirituality really want to lock down a title. That's very impossible to do because you're going to be pulling, I personally believe, because you pull in a lot of different things from different practices. Anyways, but one thing that's very important to me is all 5 elements. Earth, air, water, fire, and spirit. It's just who I am. So I would say I'm an elemental witch. So I personally turn to each direction properly and I greet it. And I thank it, grand rising, whatever the case may be, good morning. And I literally will turn, I'll spin in a circle. Sometimes the moon's out. If the moon's out, that's perfect for spirit because that is spirit. After I'm done walking a shit ton of dogs, I go inside and I get coffee. This is my iced coffee mug because I'm that person.
We all got them.
Mm-hmm. And I make my coffee. And one of the easiest things that you can do every morning, and Empress, she talks to her water, which is very important. But the other thing that you can do is, and everybody can do this, you don't have to be, everybody's a witch, in my opinion. Everybody's a witch, it's just whether or not you do it intentionally. Is that you can stir intentions into coffee, specifically coffee in the 3D gives us pep, it gives us movement. It's the same thing in the 5D, it gets shit going. So daily, when you want to stir something into in my opinion, the thing that works best is if you want to stir something into your life, say it and stir clockwise. If you want to remove something from your life, like I want to banish negativity, go counterclockwise. This is the biggest, easiest way that you can do everyday magic, just simple, and talk to all beverages, especially water. Again, elemental water holds memory of everything, in my opinion. So you're
That's
getting
very
knowledge and
interesting.
you're giving.
It's very interesting. I didn't know about the stirring of attention, so thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I do that every morning. Once I'm done with that, I'll take a shower. I have eucalyptus hanging in my shower, just something to kind of like clear my mind, get me centered. For myself personally, I can attest to, like, I generally, like, and a lot of people say this in the 3D, is that you get your best ideas after a shower or in a shower. It's because you're literally taking the water in, and it's got the memory of everything. So it's literally washing over, and you're seeing it, and you're smelling it, and it's getting in your mouth. So you're, like, literally, like, taking that in. So I'm very intentional with my showers. I personally am not a bath person. A lot of not spiritual, but definitely spiritual, but also witches will talk about having like pre-ritual baths and having lavender and things like that, and that, like, a human tea is what I call it.
I like that.
Yeah. But I personally don't take baths, so I will actually make a human tea at times with like a muslin bag. I'll put different herbs, lavender, chamomile, the whole nine, and I'll hang it off my shower head, so that way it's coming through it. So it's still coming on to me, so I'm still getting that ritual.
I want to do that.
Yeah. So without sitting in it. But that's just an alternative, because a lot of practices will talk about having a pre-ritual bath, and I just am not a bath person. But I'll grab that shit and I'll fucking squeeze it out onto my head and let that run down.
I'm the bath one. Yeah,
lots of people are bath people. I'm just not one. I never have been. It gets too cold too quickly. I like my shit fucking scalding hot.
I'm with you on that. I'm a shower girl, but I don't know that I have the patience for the bath. I try.
Yeah.
Well,
Empress.
the bath. Well, if you're doing the bath though for the purposes of a ritual, I recommend you not be in there more than 20 minutes.
Why?
Well, because for one, it's all a balance of energy. So, like she said, if the water's getting cold, because you're going in with your intentions. So if the water's changing, then it's done its job. So it's over. So that's why. So, but we're turning into, oh, it's relaxing. But no, if you're doing it for meditation practice or spiritual reasons, 20 minutes is all you need. And plus, with the stuff that I put in my water, like, I don't want to be in there more than 20 minutes anyway.
What are you putting in there, lady?
It depends on what's going on. We can do orange slices or grapefruit. Sometimes I'm doing just herbs like thyme and lavender. It just depends on what you need or what's going on in your life. But with it, it's more so, you're doing yours, I think, more so for rituals and spells. And then when I'm doing mine, it's more so for healing. So you just can't be in there more than 20 minutes because it's like you don't want to overdose yourself.
That's fair exposure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm definitely, but I do agree with you about hanging the herbs in the shower. Eucalyptus and lavender. I switch some of the herbs out sometimes, but eucalyptus and lavender never leaves my shower ever.
Yep. And I have bowls everywhere. This is an incense holder. So I literally will put my incense in this and light it. I have one in my shower, not in my shower, but in my bathroom on the back of my toilet for that, to kind of give that ambiance. And I'll do jasmine or love, because normally a bath is, or myself, my view personally, a shower is very personal. It's very you. It's just you against you kind of thing. So I try to promote what I want for that day. So yeah, absolutely. Then I have 6 of these bad boys that I go through and light every morning. This is a protection candle. So I have various ones. I have 2 for protection. I have 1 for my ancestors specifically. I have 1 for my money bowl. I have 1 for my self-love bowl, which is here. Show and tell. So, because I'm going to explain about some extended practices that I do. Like, this is going to be kind of lengthy for me just because of how much, like, I'm a lazy witch. So I need to say that up front, and I probably should have said that first and foremost. So I like to do things that are long term instead of like blips. Like spells are blips. They're when you want like immediate energy shift. But the best thing to do is to try to have consistency, because it's kind of like if you don't start something, you can never finish it. But it's like the long game is basically what it is. So I have corresponding candles, 7-day candles. I get them from dollar store. Like, I'll just be perfectly honest. They get all of my money. I don't believe in spending a lot of money for things that probably go through every 2-3 days. So I do that. Do not leave fires unattended. So like when I leave,
Disclaimer.
Yeah, exactly. Like I personally work from home with my corporate job. So I have a tendency to run errands at lunch. If I leave my house, I will put them all out. But yeah, I got one for my money bowl, one for my sugar bowl, and all that shit. And I got one in here. I've got one in my shop because obviously tarot's a thing for me. So I like to have protections, incense. The shit is everywhere. It's everywhere in my house. And then I'll also go through, and each has like their own little bowl for incense. I light my incense to try and set that tone. I'll use my Palo Santo if it's a work day in my office, and I'll do this for my work computer. I'll do it for my monitors all around the room. I will find my animals. I will hunt them down, and I will just a little bit of smoke on them because they're animals and they're outside, and you pick things up out of the ground. Energy comes out of the ground, you deposit it and stuff like that. Like, energy kicks around. So I want to make sure my animals are good and they're not dragging things in. And then that's, if I put on makeup, a very good practice to do. A lot of people talk about glamour magic. I never apply makeup without intention. You can use glamour magic for anything you want. So for me, and you can do it for like looks, like, hey, I want to look this way. I want to look confident. I want to look beautiful. I want to get what I want. Apply it and think that. For me personally, it's usually about, I want to see what's going on. I want no one to be able to pull wool over my eyes. Like things like that, like affirmations. And this could be for everybody. Like again, everyone's a witch even if you don't realize it. So just be very intentional with that. So that's something that I do, not daily, but most days. Then I put on my jewelry. I have 3 protection bracelets. These are to keep negative people, negative situations, and negative things away from me. For myself personally, and you have to try this out to see which one. I generally wear them on my right hand. Left hand is generally for things you want to pull in. So on my left hand, I have 3 bracelets that I wear. This is my abundance path. So I put those on, empty the pockets. So my obsidian that I wear in my right pocket for the same thing, because, you know, shit's getting rough out in the world. So I have that there. And then I have my copper, which will transmute negativity and turn it into positive, which is why I put it in my left pocket, because I don't mind if it comes through. It's like a filter. And then I've got my rose quartz, which is for love. Always carry those. So there's that. And then I pull my cards randomly. I have an addiction and I have a problem. And this isn't even all of my cards, because every room, with very few exceptions, have at least a deck of cards there. So
how many, hold on, time. How many decks of cards do you actually have?
It looks like 20.
That's 20? There. That's not these that are sitting here next to me. They're not including, I have some in my office, I have some at my kitchen table, or my kitchen counter, and I have some out in my shop. These are all separate. They all have their own protection candles, their incense and everything. I take tarot incredibly serious. It is like a crutch for me. I love my tarot cards. So this
no
is...
kidding.
So I have shit tons of that. So I pull that stuff randomly, and I just hit it with some Palo Santo or some incense. I'm constantly got incense going. I constantly have incense going. So I have those everywhere. So I'll do that to just kind of clear energy out and shit, and sometimes I'll hit myself with it. And then, like I said, my affirmations that I do. So that's like daily. Like probably one of the number one questions that I get a lot. Okay, well, how can I enhance my life with witchcraft? And I think that people believe in like very high magic is what it's called, which is very ritualistic, which is why I was bringing up the baths. There's people who are very like, it's a process and that's what you do. Again, I'm a lazy ass witch. So I need like quick, boom, boom. And these things, like the easiest thing to do, if you drink a beverage, stir it in. If you, if you're carry some crystals, have some affirmations, do some like simple things, like, and a daily thing of that works. And people who are around you will start to do it too. Mr. Witchy will start bringing up some stuff. Fun fact, fun story. So yesterday I had to do a bunch of errands, and we were at a stop sign, and Mr. Witchy's looking, and he's like, he knows he's looking for cedar because he knows I collect cedar. So he'll be like, what are those red berries over there? What's that? Do you know what that is? Is that something you need? Do you need to go grab that? Like he's all in. So it's like the like simple stuff like that. Just
hold on, time out.
Yes.
You just said so simple stuff like that. You just ran out like 10, 12 things that you do in the morning before you even get your day started.
Yeah, but you're already doing it. That's why it's
right.
Yeah. But
it's
But it sounds like everything that you do, Elle, has intention behind it. And you too,
Yes.
Empress. Like
yeah.
stirring your coffee, how you take a shower, how you apply your makeup, how you talk to the elements. It's all very intentional. I think that's what society misses in general, very little intention. But carry on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, and because I'm a witch, I have some extended practices, and I won't get too much on that, but it's a good rule of thumb. Full moons are always about releasing. It's what you want to let go. So when you're doing like full moons, make sure you're, you can burn paper. If you want to write down what you want to release, fold it away from you, because again, it's just like the hands, like what you want to bring in, what you want to release. If you want to release it, fold it away from you. If you want to, for new moons or new beginnings, so write down what you want, fold it towards you. And then you can burn. I personally have a thing, and I want to be very intentional about saying this, because people have different views, and what works for one person, if it works for you, that's great. If it doesn't work for somebody else, switch it up. But I personally believe if you want something, you plant what you want to grow, and you burn what you want to release. So if it's something negative, I personally burn it. And that actually brings up a bay leaf thing, where I'm kind of on the fence, not sure about bay leaves, because a lot of people like to write down what they want and then burn it. And for myself personally, I don't really subscribe to that. So that's probably where I divert from a large majority of witches, is that I would rather like burn blank bay leaves than write down what I want and burn it, kind of thing. But that's, like I said, that's just a personal choice. But anyways, so full moons, you could do a ritual like that, bonfire, the whole nine. For new moons are when I go through and I redo my bowls. I'll pull out my, so like this is my personal bowl of what I want. They're just little pieces of paper, and I will literally bury them. I'll literally grab a hand, what the fuck is it, a hoe, fucking some shit, I don't know. Dig a little hole.
Spade. It's a spade.
Yes, thank you. Slap the paper in, cover it up, and then redo my bowl. I'll add some herbs, I'll add some stuff. You don't have to throw out, in my opinion, I don't think you have to throw out everything, and you can just keep adding. And then I'll bury in my sugar bowl, this is a sugar bowl, I'll bury my next month's intention, and then I'll repeat that every new moon. So that's why this is here, because I had to do this because happy new moon in Sagittarius.
So when you're saying bury, you mean it could be outside or it could be within your bowls? Okay.
Yep,
Because
and I take
people
it.
are literal, so
Yeah, but I'm literally doing both. So I'll dig this shit out, and then I'll bury it. That's just a personal thing. You can even just leave it here, add more stuff, or take it, thank it for doing its job, and then refresh your, it's an affirmation is basically what it is, and slap it back in, whatever that affirmation is that you want. Dogs are freaking out. I'm so sorry. So
mine's been crying at me for the last 10 minutes and staring at me through the door, and I'm just trying to ignore him.
I do not know what's happening downstairs.
Go check? Yeah, should you pause to go check?
Well, continued. Let's see what's going on.
And just like that, my dogs are barking at fucking nothing. So I apologize. Okay,
So no
so
emergency.
yeah, no, fucking, it never is. Don't if there's an Amazon truck, forget it. Okay. But yeah, so, and also literally the last thing that I want to mention is that cinnamon and salt are always a huge thing. Mm-hmm. Cinnamon is abundance, salt is protection. So during the full moon or new moon, it don't really matter, either one. You can do salt for the full moon because, again, what do you want to take out? You want to release negativity. So just put it in left hand usually. Like I said, that can change, doesn't matter. Just put it in your hand in through your front door. So if you're facing in, there's some discord on this. You're facing inside your house, but you're on the outside. Blow it into your house. Same thing with the cinnamon. You can do that on the new moon, full moon, and also Thursdays are Jupiter days. So you could even blow cinnamon in through your front door. I do both my front and my back door because I use my back door more than my front door. But anyways, and just put it in your hand and think abundance. I'm welcoming this in, and blow it into your house. Just be careful that it doesn't end up all over dogs. It can be very hazardous to them, toxic.
So you're saying you blow. So you're saying you blow the salt out of your house?
No, into your house. Everything goes into your house because you're protecting your house. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people, I've heard of a lot of people who have like cinnamon in their hands, standing in their front door, looking out at their front yard and blowing it out. Is like you're telling it to leave. You're not pulling it in.
I don't blow it at all. I don't normally do the cinnamon, but I do the salt, and I get this from my great grandmother. Salt mixed with brick dust, but we don't blow it. We leave it out all year. We line the windows and the doors.
You can do the same thing with eggshells too. I do that same thing. Brick dust is very, very good because it gives foundation. That's a huge one. I've heard of that, and I have bricks that I've been meaning to grind up for it. But I
mix
use
the brick
eggshells
dust with the salt. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I do eggshells. I keep my eggshells and I keep them in the fridge, and then I bake them at 400 degrees for about 30 minutes to kill bacteria. And then I take them and crunch them up. And then I go outside and I've thought about this. Okay, so here's how you can hide witchcraft and make it look legit. Is that with eggshells are very good for plant life. People feed their animals raw eggshells too. So I go out there and I line and I drop it, and I think I want to keep anything out, keep it away, and I sprinkle it. So the thing is that I always feel ridiculous sprinkling just eggshells, but if somebody were to stop me, I would be like, I'm just feeding my plants. It's legit. Like they could Google it. But yeah, that's really honestly like what my actual practice looks like.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
That was very extensive.
All right, well, I'm going to talk about what a lot of my practices are. So I too also meditate. That was a real struggle for me when I first started because, my brain was so chaotic, and I've learned over the years that there's no real goal, there's no real way to meditate. It's really about attempting to quiet the mind, but not being frustrated by the thoughts that come in, because that happens. I've also been trained in transcendental meditation, so I do that also, and that's a 2 times a day practice for 20 minutes. I haven't been doing it as regularly recently, but it's something that I know how to do, and it's certainly beneficial. I can do guided meditations. Those were really instrumental when I first started because, like you, Empress, with the candle, it was easier for me to follow a story or a line so that my brain wasn't just cycling on its own. I like that. And then sometimes today, my meditation is just thank you. Just slowing down, getting centered, and just saying thank you. because we all get busy, you know, and I feel like, I don't know there's a quote out there, I think it's the Buddha, if you have a lot to do, you should meditate for an hour. If that seems too long, you should meditate for 2 hours. You know what I mean? So I do think it's practice, and it's something I even still to this day have to stay on top of. But and prayer and meditation to me are very similar. So when I say I pray, not in a traditional religious sense, it's more of a dialogue between me, the universe, God, spirit guides, whoever's listening. It's a dialogue. I spend less time asking for things. I need, you know, and it's more of a conversation. And for me, that's prayer / meditation. So sometimes even while I'm meditating, I may be having a mild conversation with the universe also, you know, as things are coming. And another thing you said, Empress, was like, all the answers are within you. And I'm going to say something funny. Don't think I'm full of myself. Years ago, before I was ever any of the things that I am today, I said to my best friend, she's like, Kim, you act like you know it all. And I was like, well, you know, I feel like sometimes when I'm talking to myself, it's like talking to God. And she goes, oh my God, that's the most full of yourself thing I've ever heard in my life. But I meant it. Like, and now I know that to be true about myself. Not that I am God, we're all pieces of that, you know, but I have the answers. If I can slow it down, it's already in there. I just have to pay attention to me, right? So other practices, I also have crystals. I can thank my son for that. He was a big rock kid, and he still loves rocks and crystals, and he likes them for different reasons that I do. But because of his love of them, we had them in our house, and he was always breaking geodes open, and so I have lots of crystals. But I love that, and it's gotten he and I to enjoy something together. So he buys me crystals, and you know, or if you don't know, if you're gifted a crystal, it's much more special from the get, with the intention of it having been a gift. So I love to get, you know, crystals from him. I do receive Reiki, and I give Reiki, so I do that. I also journal. I'm not very good at it. I have a really hard time collecting my thoughts sometimes, to the point that I can even get it down on paper, or the Virgo in me is looking at my penmanship and not liking it, or thinking about the next word that's going to come out, and oh, by the time I got to the period, I have forgot the thought that was next. But I've also learned with journaling, so it's gotten easier, that it's really just flow, right? It's, you know, your sentences don't have to be succinct, and your ideas don't have to be something that anybody else would understand, or, you know, that sort of thing. So I've been journaling more, and I do some breath work. That was really important for me. I'm no expert in it. I do just some pretty basic box breathing, 4 in, hold 4, release 4, you know, I do that. But that helps my body, because when I'm tense or I am spun up or whatever, I have noticed, I never knew this about myself, I'm holding my breath. I'm holding my breath. Yeah. I'm clenching my jaw. I didn't realize that about myself, but through breath work, I realized that I'm doing that. So now I'm a little bit more aware of it. But again, I'm no expert in breath work, but I know it's super beneficial. But a day in a life for me generally starts, and I am smiling at myself because I was not this person 10 years ago. I wake up between 4:30 and 5 every morning. By no alarm. I don't know why. I just feel like that's when my body wants to wake up. And I'll tell you that the birds chirping in the morning, like, I want to hear that. I want to hear that when they first start. Back in the day when I was drinking, the birds symbolized, oh my God, I have to start this fucking day again, and it's only going to be dark out for another hour. That's all the hour I have left to sleep. So it's cool for me. Now, when I hear the birds, it's a whole different vibe. It's like, oh, the day's begun. You're not on fire. Everything's fine. But my actual morning practice, when I get up that early, is very quiet. Slow and low is what this woman needs. I move fast and furious for way too long. So I don't like rushed mornings. I like to get up early. I come down. I have an enormous dog who just follows me everywhere. And I light candles. I put on some really nice ambient music, maybe some frequency music, maybe some Native American flutes or something, but just something in the background. I'm in a house where there's no big lights, so I only light candles in the dark. And I just sort of navigate, and it's kind of spooky. It's kind of romantic. It's super quiet. And we all know, if we're up that early, there is a different energy in the world when it's quiet and dark. And I think that I don't know this to be factual or totally true, but for me, it's a lot easier to be intentional, to focus, to be grateful, which is another one of my practices is gratitude. And I think, we're hearing that word all the time. Be grateful, practice gratitude. Again, simple isn't always easy, right? I mean, I have the same thing today to be grateful for that I did yesterday, right? The same 30 things. And sometimes when people are practicing gratitude, it starts to become mundane. Oh my gosh, oh, guess what? I'm grateful to be alive again. Oh, I'm grateful that I have hair. I'm grateful that I can think, But, it would frustrate me. Like, why am I'm having to come with another 20 things today and another 20 things tomorrow? But really what it's the practice of, you can't be upset and grateful at the same time. You can't. So even if my gratitude list seems rhetorical and all of that, I'm certainly not negative when I'm doing it, and I can't fake it. So those two things can't exist at the same time. So I'm a big believer in practicing gratitude. I also have candles and incense, and I burn sage and Palo Alto and all of that, and I love that. I like ceremony, and through Elle Witchy, I am learning about more ceremonies, which I love. I think I like the elements of it. I like the getting prepared for it, and setting intention for it, and so I love those kinds of things. Let's see. I do want to talk about some people that in my spiritual journey have been super influential to me, and then I'll kick to you guys, and you can tell me who's been influential to you. So when I got sober and I had my spiritual awakening, and I was working with this band of women to help me get it together and explore myself and heal, let me back up. I'm sorry, I'm not sounding succinct. Almost 30 years ago, when I lost my son, a woman that I loved very much gave me a book by Louise Hay. It's called You Can Heal Your Life. And I never got rid of the book. I read it because I remembered it when I reread it, that I had read it before. But I was just not in a place at that point in my life to accept anything other than anger and why the hell did this happen to me, right? So, but planting seeds, which is kind of what we're all doing here, that woman gave me that book and that seed was planted. I never looked at it again for 25, almost 30 years. But when I got sober, it just appeared. Now, this book has moved in a box 3 or 4 times before it reappeared. So I don't know how it appeared, but there it was, the same book. And so then, of course, I dove right into it. And I felt very nurtured by that person. Louise Hay is amazing. She's very palpable. She's doesn't tell you how to do. It's all about self-love, and this woman needed to learn how to love herself. But then I have so many other influencers. I think right on the piggyback of that, Wayne Dyer is absolutely amazing. He's easy to listen to. He's consistent. He's humorous. So I think it's real easy for maybe somebody who's early on in a spiritual journey to listen to somebody who's completely relatable. And then I've gone on, and I love Abraham Hicks. I don't know if you're familiar, but all about the universe and intention. I was not prepared early on for the Ram Dasses and the Alan Watts and the Michael Singers of the world, who are all fantastic, or Eckhart Tolle. I wasn't there yet, but they're fantastic too. And I've gotten myself to a place where I can, I can listen and understand. And that brings me to another point that, we got to take what resonates and leave the rest behind. And it doesn't mean, Michael Singer was way over my head at the beginning, but I didn't dismiss him as a spiritual leader. I just said, not right now. But then 3 years later, I'm listening. I'm like, oh, now it's resonating. So it's a progression, right? It's a journey. And then some other things I would like to explore with my spiritual practices, and I haven't done it yet. I think I'm a little bit chicken, I'll be honest with you, but I really want to explore more medicines, psilocybin journeys, ayahuasca, ibogaine, things like that. I'm a little too chicken right now to do it, but I think with the right intention and the right, shaman or leader, somebody to help guide me through it, I think it could be very beneficial. And it's certainly proving to be very beneficial for people in recovery. It's helping a lot of people in addiction. So I'd like to explore that more. And I'd also like to start doing some women's retreats, so that, spiritual retreats, inexpensive, hopefully, but super impactful for women to get together and learn what it is we're talking about. not the deep, dark stuff, but how do we explore it? Let's get some fellowship around it and, support each other. So those are some of the things that I do on a daily basis, the people that have influenced me, and some of the things I want to do going forwards. Empress, can you tell us about some of what you'd like to explore and who's influenced you?
Yes, let me open this door and let the dog out real quick. Get out.
This is what happens.
This is life.
This is how we do it.
I had to figure out how do I mute myself? Okay, so I don't this is gonna sound so uneducated, but I don't read a lot of books on spirituality, and I don't know why. Well, I think I do know why. I think it's the Virgo in me. And then the thing with my higher self is like, hey, if I want you to know whatever information you need to know, I'll download it to you. and then we'll proceed from there. But I do have one person who I credit with saving my 3D life. Her name is Mariella Ortiz. She's actually it's crazy because she's a reverend, but I think she's a reverend in Christianity and Buddhism. She studies across all religions, and so to better understand everyone's journey and path, she's a wonderful person. But I had gotten to a point where once I finished raising my kids and I wasn't distracted by the 3D world anymore, helping them figure their way through, they, empty nest, and now the focus is all back on me. And my antennas were picking up all different energies from everywhere. And it was literally making me sick. And I didn't know how to protect myself from it. And I was in a bookstore. What's the name of that bookstore? Dancing Moon. Yeah, I was in a bookstore amongst a bunch of spirituality books, but I went for crystals. And I happened to wander around in the book section, and I saw this one book, Indigo Child. I just read the cover and I touched the book immediately, crying everywhere, trying to get myself together. I go sit in the corner for a second. I'm like, okay, we're good. Don't know why I'm crying, because I was happy when I walked in the store because I'm going to get crystals, right?
Yeah.
So keep walking through the store. I get to another section and then I start crying again. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I see some business cards and I see Elevated Healing. I see this lady's card and I grab it. She says she does tarot. All the business cards sitting up there, I grabbed her card because she just looked so light and free. Mm-hmm. Didn't read her name, I just saw her looking light and free. So I grabbed her card. I'm trying to gather my crystals so I can check out, get out the store, and I'm again. So this lady comes up to me and she says, "Are you okay?" I said, "I don't know." I was happy when I came in this store. I'm still happy. I have no clue why I'm crying, but I'm in a fit right now and it's frustrating me. So she gave me some obsidian, and then I think she gave me amethyst. So I held both of the crystals and she's talking to me. She's looking me in my eye and she's like, "I just need you to come back to center." She's breathing with me and I'm looking in her eyes and I'm like, "I know we don't know each other, but I'm pretty sure I know you." She says, "It's probably because we were friends in another life." And we're breathing and breathing. And then she tells me, she says, "Darling, you're probably an empath and you need to learn how to protect your energy." She said, "I'm going to give you someone's card to help you." She goes and gives me the business card. I said, "I already grabbed it." Same exact card. Yeah, same exact card. She goes, "Oh, so you're psychic too." So I called Mariella, and that was about 6 years ago, and she's been helping me ever since. She says I don't need her help anymore, but whatever, I still call her. But she helped me protect myself in the 3D world from low energy, because I was picking up and I was absorbing all of it, because you are what you say, an elemental witch. If you wanted to call me a witch, I'm a healing witch. Mm-hmm. So I literally transmute people's negative energy with my own body. And if I I don't have the right practices to keep myself balanced and in line, I become violently ill. I.e., I've been hospitalized several times and doctors are baffled. So, extended practices to help myself. Gardening, because I'm in the dirt. I'm an earth sign.
Yep.
In the
I
dirt.
love it.
Yes. So, gardening. Crystals. I buy crystals, but I mostly dig up my own. So, I go hunting in my woods too. This is the biggest one I found so far in my woods.
I love it.
Yeah, so this is like a mix of quartz and some type of citrine, I think. And then this is the smallest one I've ever found digging up. This one's quartz
love
too. I've
that.
got quartz everywhere.
Now I
so
want to go
that,
forage in my backyard.
hell yeah, forage for crystals, damn it. People be foraging for food. You better forage for some crystals. But yeah.
I do that. Like I literally pick up the little pieces of quartz that I find, and I'll put intention in it. Like I have some of those scattered throughout outside. I forgot about that. Like Nirvana quartz is here, and I put the intention because any quartz can be programmed. It can be whatever you want. So, and I do that, and I protect my house.
Yes, it's the baseline crystal.
Yes.
It is a universal crystal. So yeah, I have them all around the house, outside around the house. I have them hanging in our cars. Sometimes I put them in pockets. I do have a little protection satchel. A lot of people carry herbs. I carry a pack of crystals like she does. I keep them I keep them next to my pew-pew. So protection everywhere. And then the other thing that I'm really passionate about is sound bath. That is when you're playing the different elemental instruments. Most people think of just the singing bowls, but then you have things like the little, all these different sounds and your chimes. Sound is important. It really does. The vibrations really do heal you from the inside out, and it helps reset your frequencies. So if you have a local sound bath around you, I implore you to just try it one time. It might be painful because if you have ailments, like I have mild scoliosis, so when my back is really acting up, sound bath is a little painful sometimes, but the next day I feel like a new person. Sometimes it's cathartic. You're going to probably boo-hoo your eyes out, but it's all for release and resetting. So, yeah, sound bath, gardening, and digging for crystals.
I love it.
Like digging for gold.
Hell yeah.
So we've covered, kind of what everybody else has done. Are there any things that you want to explore that you haven't explored that or maybe influencers, spiritual teachers that you would like to learn more about, or I don't know, anything?
I can start. I want to add, I have to add some structure to my day. That's one thing that I'm really lacking, which is also making my energy go all over the place. So I don't have proper focus. Structure isn't necessarily about it just being straight. It's about knowing where to put your focus. So I need to make sure that I have that. I've got a lot of things going on between 3D, 5D, and everything in between. Yoga is something that I want to add for like a release. Something that I've both of you have mentioned, breath work. I am probably the absolute shittiest spiritualist when it comes to meditation, breath works, things of that nature. So I need to make sure that I'm doing more of that. My spirit guides have told me like, hey, to kind of echo what both of you have said in a different way, is that all the answers are within. You are the God of yourself, period. It's like literally that if you want to think of it. And so all of those answers are coming from within, because in my belief is that we have guardian angels, spirit guides, ancestors, high self trying to guide you along the way. So I need to do that so that way I can make sense of the noise in my head. In terms of like influences, influencers, things of that, like part of why I really wanted to have a podcast in general is because there's there's no manual for anybody to really look at. there can be times of misinformation in regards to people using their own beliefs, their own morals as like this is law. And there's nothing wrong with somebody having law for themselves, but it's one thing when somebody's saying, hey, look, like myself personally, I can say this, that one of the things that irritates me to hear to no end, and I say this as somebody who's not religious. I want to preface that by saying spirituality actually got me more religious than religion ever did because of my understanding of how it works. But there's a lot of people who have a lot of discourse like, you can't be a witch and a Christian. That doesn't even make sense to me. I don't understand how you can't be Christian and be a witch. Like, I heard a lot, like, I'm a podcast person. I love listening to podcasts. I listen to a lot of true crime, and I had to stop listening to true crime because it put me in a dark place. And it's like when you're exposing yourself to a lot of those energies, it affects how you present and how you believe. And again, we're a magnet. So if you're in a dark place, you're bringing darkness. Neither here nor there. Not that there's anything wrong with true crime. It's just for myself personally, it was not very good. So there's a lot of sources out there that like to use their own thing and say, this is law. And I'm just not behind that. That being said, there have been some very good sources for me to tackle. And when you're doing witchcraft, that's usually, how do I know where to start? How do I know what's a closed practice? How do I know what's cool? How do I know what's not cool? And it's going to take research. Google's going to be your best friend. Pinterest is going to be your best friend. Kim, Empress, you guys are a big influence on me. And I'm not just saying that because here we are, three assholes standing here. It's because you guys literally are. You've helped me to make sense of the chaos in my head of what I'm feeling. But not everybody has an Empress. Not everybody has a Kim. So how would you do that? So it's like you've got to just grab multiple sources. So, but again, I can tell Kim, hey, look, I feel this way. And she's going to say, hey, look, try this. And I may be like, that don't really sit well with me, but thank you for the offer. But I'm not going to lose sight of that because there's sometimes where she's going to suggest something to me. And the problem is that I'm not at that point yet.
Yeah.
So then I can actually come back and be like, oh, hey, wait, Kim suggested this to me. This is what she was talking about. I thought she meant this, but she meant this. And it's because I'm pulling it from different sources. So Google's going to be your friend, cross-reference with Pinterest, cross-reference with a TikTok. So it's like you're taking in these sources, and even though I'm not using it as like, this is my God, it's like, it's just a suggestion, and to take that in and to listen to yourself and to listen to everybody around you.
Okay.
That's what I would say. And podcast, the Witch Bitch Amateur Hour. They like to dig into what herbs are, like plants, herbs, crystals, runes, tarots, things like that. That was so influential.
In summation, I think we've covered, kind of what spiritual practices are for us. As you can tell, as good of friends that we are and are becoming. We do very different practices, and that's the beauty of spirituality is there is no one size fits all. And when Elle was talking about people who say that this is the law, the second you tell me there's only one way to do it, that's my discern. That's my flag right there. There's many different ways to make a bowl of spaghetti. There's not just one way, so there can't possibly be. And anybody who's an expert, the only person I think anybody can be an expert on is themselves.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I like to keep it open, and I think, anybody who's telling anybody else what to do or what's the better way, if it's not a suggestion, it's probably not what you should be doing. That's just my opinion, because there's more than one way.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. My influence is myself, which is probably why everybody thinks I'm the bitch, but I'm cool with that.
On any given day, Empress, I could be called a bitch.
Hey, I'll
that's
swap
me
with
hourly.
you. And you know what? We have that right.
Yeah. And
All right, well, I think that wraps up episode 2.
Yes, I think so too. And remember, guys, energy is the new commodity. Vibe high, and please spend it wisely. Yay! And we're out.